Levi here, and I'd like to show off my van, Big Blue. So let me get behind the camera, tell you all about it. So, in the back you'll see where the plug is for shore power, which hides away really well when it's closed. And these back windows are awning style, so they open this way, which I did on purpose so that when it's raining I can still get some air to draw through. Have a roof mounted air conditioning unit. There's a muffler for the diesel heater that lives inside, and the max air fan on top. And if you can see way up there, actually I'll step up on the driver's step, and you can see all the flexible solar. Coming around the front to the other side, I've cut in a big side window to let in a lot of light here. And there's a rain gutter that just makes it a little easier when you're getting in and out on a rainy day. And in here is the beautiful inside that I'm excited to show off. Hello, welcome. You'll see there's a single step there for anyone who needs help up and in. The back of the sink, and it's all trimmed out. You step in and you'll see this countertop extension. Both of these seats swivel around, which I'll show in a moment. And they each have extensions to have a working space or an eating space. So, step all the way in. There's a large mirror mounted right by the sink. A little storage on top. You could even turn this chair around, sit here, do your morning stuff, wash your face, whatever you need. There's a big spray sink with a strainer that's removable, a drinking spigot, and a soap dispenser. Down here you'll see there's a really heavy duty filter for drinking water. I keep just a spare container here for diesel fluid, hot water heater, plenty of storage under the sink, and extra storage wherever I can fit them. Let's come around here to the storage. Actually, down here you'll see the control panel. I hit it down low because I don't want to see all the lights at nighttime, and I want it to be easily accessible. This on-off switch for the inverter, I want it to be easily accessible from just my driver's side door. You have the standard AC plug with the USB inputs. You have DC plugs with the USB, and the bottom one is actually the cigarette lighter style, in case you have any sort of apparatus that needs that. The battery monitor and the diesel heater. The diesel heater actually lives under this cubby, and here's the vent for it. Here's the tank for it. And I built in this step to hide all of that, as well as to add extra storage for like a fire extinguisher, a little vacuum, or shoes or whatever. Extra storage in this little macrame hanger. And then you'll see all the trim work and the wooden ceilings go throughout. In the very front, there's a cubby that I store all of the blackout blinds, which I'll demonstrate in a moment. The max air fan, which pulls air in or blows air out, which creates a nice breeze. Let's see, up front, I made it all feel warm and cozy by adding the wood, and with the idea that when you put in all the blackout screens and you turn the chairs around, it feels really welcoming and cozy. And then obviously your standard van with all of the trimmings that come in a Ram ProMaster. This is a 2500 model. It's not the longest and it's not the shortest, it's the middle, so it fits exactly the footprint of a regular parking spot. Over here you'll see a little circular cubby hidden back if you want to store a bottle of wine or water bottle or anything really. And then my idea was to keep everything very minimal. So in a lot of builds I saw lots of upper cabinets and I just wanted one simple one. So all of this is custom built. I designed and made it all. It was a fun project. And it's got a lot of storage up here. I sourced these bins so that you can kind of see what you're dealing with inside of each one. You can pull each one out separately. There's one for documents there. And then I created this copper backsplash, which has LED underlighting under this cabinet, under this lip, and it's color changing, so you can choose whatever sort of color your heart desires, and it really sets the mood and atmosphere in here, which is really wonderful. Now all the drawers have all sorts of organizers in them to make it easy. So there's this, it's just like a portable clothes washer, and so I decided to put that in here for when I sell it so someone can wash their clothes on the go. Remote for the air conditioning, remote for the diesel heater, which is nice when you're in the bed to turn it on and off and raise and lower the temperature. Keys for the water reservoir fill, and then silverware or odds and ends, and then just tons of drawer space. You'll notice these drawers have glass sides. The idea with it is just to let in a lot of natural light, just to keep the whole space feeling open while you're living and moving about the space. And those are the same throughout. Little non-skid, non-sliding mats, because you will be driving. And then little drawers. So instead of a toe kick for most normal kitchen style cabinets, I created a lower level of drawers. Now this big one, it's all one drawer, these two faces, but visually I wanted the look of it being two. This houses the fridge and freezer, which pop open from here. And you can set either one to be fridge or freezer, or both fridge, both freezer. Runs off AC and DC, so you can power it up while you're plugged into shore power on AC, charge it really fast, and then switch it to DC so it doesn't drain your battery. This is just a hidden drawer to get extra storage. Comes with a set of nesting bowls, silicone ice maker, a little portable blender, some felt dividers for any dishes or pots and pans. You'll notice this doesn't have a cut-in stove top because I have a Coleman 2-burner stove that I use, which is nice for when you're out and about camping. You can set it on a picnic table, or I just set it here so that I can vent it out through this fan while I'm cooking. Again, storage everywhere. While you're on the road, this locks up the fridge drawer so it doesn't come open because it is a heavy drawer. And then back here, same thing, more drawers with all kinds of organizers in it. And then dividers for clothes, so you can set clothes in like a filing cabinet so you can see everything. Same thing here. And just more storage everywhere you look. So I'm gonna step back again. You'll see over here there's a AC outlet with USB. So if you have any sort of appliance or hair dryer or whatever that you want to plug in there. And then we have the bathroom. Actually, LED lighting goes all the way throughout. So let me show you that on the ceiling. It's on a dimmer, so you can dim it to nothing or really low mood lighting. So let me show you the bathroom with the mood lighting down. Yes, it is entirely wrapped in copper. There's a Nature's Head composting toilet, which diverts the urine, and then the solid goes into the container. And instead of cutting another hole in the van, I just have it venting out the bottom drain of the shower pan. So when you need to use a shower, you can take that up and take the whole toilet, set it out here, and have plenty of room to shower. There's a rain head in the shower. And then up top, there's actually this magnetic light that has a movement sensor on it. So if it senses movement, it turns on. When it doesn't sense movement for a while, it shuts itself off, and it's rechargeable with the DC plug. Let me turn the lights back on. Oh, no, actually, this is a fun feature. So this is a shower door. So it still lets in some nice light, but also allows for privacy if you have anyone over and they need to use the bathroom, or also to keep the water in while you're showering. And it's self-squeegeeing and antimicrobial, so it just takes care of itself and lives right there. And it doesn't get in your way trying to open doors and work around it. And then let me turn that light back on. So in the back, we have that roof-mounted AC unit, which works really, really well. And actually, it's the only one of its kind I could find that actually runs off of DC power. It still draws a lot of power, but not quite as much as a regular unit that runs off of alternating current. This table is on a swivel, so you can swivel it any which way. I like to set it this way. You can set it this way. You can set it against this wall, so it's like an entertainment system. A couch on either side. And yes, it turns into a bed. I'll show you in a moment. So back here, I have this custom door cubbies, which has a little bit of space inside with a lip so that you can store things back there and it won't fall out. They're wrapped in copper as well. And with that said, let me start changing some things up so you can see how well the space evolves. All right, gonna set up the blackout curtains. Show you how it's done. So they're all made with rare earth magnets. So they latch right on. So there's one for the ceiling front fan. Let me see if you can see that. Yeah. And then there's one for every window. I also have a smoke detector and carbon monoxide detector. I bumped it with this blackout curtain, but for safety reasons, it's nice to have. So let's throw this up. The fancy part faces this. The black faces out. So that if anyone's trying to look inside, they can't. It's just gonna look like the lights are off. Full visors down over it. That's the front. Got passenger side window. And the magnets just catch onto the metal. Other window for the driver's side. And the side sliding door window. Put this up and then I'll turn the camera so you can see it all up close. Now these aren't just for blackout. when I was living in this in the winter, they helped insulate it a lot, like a lot. So let me show you. So now it's all blacked out. This is great too if you're parked somewhere that has blaring street lights. I'm going to turn around these seats, which is really easy to do. There's a little lever in the front. Push it down, start rotating, and you have to use that front and back slider bar to kind of work your way around that little area. We turn around over here. All right. Then you can put up these countertop extensions, and let me give you the tour of that. So you have a meeting or a workspace, passenger side. Same thing with the driver's side. What's really nice about this is it really opens up the space quite a bit. I mean, it's a small space anyways, but making this part accessible, making it accessible to be able to sit in and hang out in, and it not just be a separate driving space, is huge. I mean, it really adds a substantial amount. So to put these back, there's these little levers that you push on either side. Just collapses down. All right. Now, I want to show you the setup for the bed. Actually, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to pull the swivel tail down. First, I guess it would be beneficial to show you what all it's capable of. You can swivel it there to be like a little workspace, or essentially a living room. So let's say we're sitting on this couch over here. Let's say you're setting up your laptop or your iPad and watching a movie. And you can also put a projector screen if you wanted to in here. A fun little detail is these little screws hold a clothes drying rack that lives inside of this bench that comes out and extends really far. So if you need to dry clothes, you have a space to hang. Let me show you another position of the table. So another position for it, which is maybe my favorite position for it. It's like here, which makes it a really cozy cafe style seating when you're hanging with a friend, or you're just wanting a way to get easy in and out. Really anything you want. Okay, let me show you this. These black out by drawing it down, or if you draw the whole thing up. It's actually a bug screen. It's tricky to see, but there's a bug screen here that collapses down. And I mentioned it being an awning style window that has two different settings. And again, I chose this because when it rains, it's some nights or some days it's still very nice to be able to draw a breeze through there rather than let it just rain into the van. And then they close really easy and secure. And now I'm going to take the table down, transform it into a bed. leg. The table leg just stores on the bottom of the table. Little track that it slides into. And then that just sets into these two little ledges that hold on either side. It's a very thick piece of wood, so it's quite sturdy. And then these back seat cushions fill in the middle. And because of the curve in the back of the van there, these back seat cushions are a little shorter than the base cushion. So there's this little added piece that I use as a lumbar support when I'm sitting on the couch. But then it just fills in that little gap to make a bed. It's very, very comfortable. I also have a 2-inch memory foam topper that's cut to size, and a quilted mattress pad topper, and then just like a jersey sheet and a down comforter that I have had a friend custom sew to the size, and then some nice down throw pillows. It gets really cozy back here. This is maybe one of my favorite places to sleep that I've ever slept. One, because it gets so blacked out, but two, because it's just such a beautiful space that you can set the mood lighting, you can set the color of the LED lights, you can dim those to whatever color. Actually, I'm going to show you my favorite. So when I'm like winding down for bed, I normally turn off this front zone, which is on a separate dimmer. This is the front. This is the rest of the house in the back. You'll notice little details like leather that's hiding all the seams between the cab and the house, just to make it feel more like home. Then, my favorite is this dark mood lighting. Set up a few candles. The light from the candles really bounces and reflects off of the copper, and it makes it such a lovely space. And you can go with whatever color you want. And then just sit back here, get cozy, read, watch a movie, fall asleep. And, oh, I have more to show you. I want to show you the electrical components and the water reservoir. So, to do that, we're going to get under the benches. So these live under the benches because should be very little need for you to have to do anything with them. Benches have these little cut out holes. So you lift it up. So under this little wooden cubby box, these are the bricks for the compost toilet, but under this there's a 32-gallon water tank that lives in there. 32 gallons, so it should be enough for like a week. Depending on how you use it, it could be a lot more. That's the clothes hanging rack. I'll show you it. Let's see. Mount it. Open it. And then those come out. And you can hang things to dry. And then when you don't need it, just put it away. Oh, and then this front bit is just a nice wooden box that you can hold whatever you want. Under the box too, there's a space of about 6 inches that the box is lifted up off of in case you want to just store something away that you really aren't gonna hardly ever need. And then let me throw the cushions onto the other side. Same thing over here, this lifts up. And there's a wooden storage box because in my mind, the more storage that you can have, the better. And then under here lives all the electrical. Everything's labeled. Got a huge Renogy inverter, 5 batteries, master on-off switch, bus bar, positive and negative, solar, battery chargers so that any excess power from the alternator in the van while you're driving can be diverted back to charge your battery bank. Yeah, that's it. I think if there's anything else I can tell you, I'm gonna talk to you in the mirror. So that's it. I loved designing and building this. It's been a fun project. I've just treated it like a work of art, like a painting, and I've really loved it. Oh, there's something. The breaker box is right there, so it's easily accessible in case there's something that you need to switch on and off. I normally keep all of the AC powered things like the water heater or the plugs switched off so that they're not drawing power, and the DC doesn't use very much because the LED lights use very little. A little fan on the toilet, the vent fan above uses very little power, so I tend to use that as much as possible, and I wired as much of the van with that in mind just to keep the power usage down. The other thing is the full-size sink was really important to me. I've been in RVs that have like that tiny little basin sink, and I feel like you can barely do anything with it. So this, you can store a bunch in it when you're driving, if you need to hit the road fast. Wash just as easily. I found I took a lot of bird baths with it with a cloth rather than up and commit to a full shower. Well, the other thing is that this whole unit swings outside so that you can shower right outside the door. Rinse off your feet or your hands or your whole body, whatever you so desire. I'm thinking if there's anything else I can tell you. Other than these faux rugs are so comfortable on your feet. There are some nights where I literally just lay down on them because they are so cozy. I have a little niece too who, that's her favorite part of the van. She'll crawl in and she'll just like rub her face against these carpets and just snuggle them for hours. I think that's it. I mean, there's a lot of details, and I made this long video because I want to chronicle this thing that I've built, but also I'm posting it for sale, so this can be your walkthrough before you commit to coming and seeing it and buying it. It is a real beaut. Any of my friends that have hung out in here with me don't want to leave. When you're all closed up in it with the blackout curtains, it is like its own little universe. My intention in designing and building it the way I did is I want the outside to look kind of inconspicuous, like no big deal. It's a van, looks like it has some van life thing going on, but then when you step inside, I want it to feel like, oh my gosh, this is high-end luxury space. And you hear the fan with the like electrical, but one thing that box does too is it muffles all of that noise. So that's it. Thank you for joining me and exploring my van with me. It's been fun giving you a tour. If it has not sold yet, which I imagine it will soon, and most people watching this probably will have already sold, then hit me up with a message. I would love to schedule a time to show you in person so you can buy it and make it your fancy home. One other thing that is worth clarifying with this van is there's two types of van builds in my opinion. There's the adventure mobile, where you're getting out maybe for a weekend, maybe going camping, maybe going skiing, maybe going mountain biking. And those are the kind of vans that you can throw like all your equipment in and go. And then there's ones that are built like a home, that are really meant to live in. I lived in this full time for 15 months and I loved it. And I traveled all over the country, visited lots of national parks, visited a lot of friends, which felt so valuable. Anyways, it's a home and it's meant to be lived in. And whoever buys it doesn't have to, but it is fully equipped to live a cozy, wonderful life in it. So with that said, thank you for joining me, and I hope you're having a most spectacular life.